Welcome to the Unshackled Life Podcast. Real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. I'm Dalyn Woodard, and I'm glad you're here. Whether you've been walking with Jesus for years or you're just trying to figure out what's real in a noisy world, this space is for honest conversation, raw reflection, and truth that sets us free. Let's get into today's episode. Good morning. It is good to be in the house of the Lord. An awesome time of worship, and I hope that you were able to get a glimpse of His glory, to see Him for who He is. Because when we get a glimpse of the nature and goodness and holiness and awesomeness of God, it inspires our heart to worship, and that is a good thing. But it can also make us hold back, and that's a natural thing because that's our nature. Because we understand that something that is high and glorious or worthy of praise demands a certain level. That which is excellent demands a certain level with it. You know, we talked about bringing in the offering, and if there was anything wrong with that little lamb, it didn't get to come. It couldn't be presented to God. And I remember as a teenager in junior high, I was invited to become a part of the Key Club, believe it or not. Yeah, don't I look like I fit there? That's because I was an honor student with all these good grades, and they thought I would fit in. They were wrong. But my mom wanted me to do it, and I didn't know anything about all this. This was my first year in public school, and I was like, sure, why not? It'll look good in college and all that stuff, right? They had a banquet for all the new people coming in and the people going out, dressed up because it was a banquet. My best clothes, right? Thought I looked sharp till I got there. And as I sat surrounded by kids my age whose allowance was more than I would have probably given to me in a year, my clothes that I thought I looked pretty good in didn't hold up so well. And I saw, and I felt a little, and that was just kids my own age and people, right? But I'm not dressed right. I'm not good enough. If you're going to a job interview, you want to dress right. There are jobs, even labor jobs. Yeah, I'll give you the job, but you've got to supply your tools, and you've got to supply your boots, and you've got to supply your clothes, and they've got to be a certain kind of clothes for safety purposes or whatever, or we want to look a certain way, so they've got to be this color and this size and this style, and you have to purchase them. Well, I don't have the money to get them. Well, then you can't start work until you do. But I need to work so I can get the money so I can get the clothes, but you can't work because you don't have the clothes. Or you don't get the job because you don't look right. Or you get invited to go sit down with somebody important. A judge, a governor, a president. You better dress right. Or you don't get accepted. You don't get treated the same. I saw a video just the other day where a judge I know this is Zoom, but you're still in my courtroom, remote or not. You're a lawyer. Why are you wearing a t-shirt in my court? We will pause the proceedings while counsel goes and dresses appropriately. I was like, made him? Okay. I was like, yeah. Because when you come to court, you're supposed to dress the part. So we can start feeling like I have to get right. I have to get it all together. I have to start doing things the way I'm supposed to and look the way I'm supposed to look and act the way I'm supposed to act. Get all neat and clean and dressed properly, and then I can come into the presence of God. Because that's the way it works with people. But it doesn't work that way with God. And it's a good thing. Because if you wait until you have it all together, until you can do it, until you look right, until you're clean, you won't ever come. You won't have freedom. You won't be able to have the benefits of that relationship that you could have had. Because we can't do that. Because when it says you have to be clothed in righteousness, you have to have the right garment to come to the wedding feast. The sacrifice has to be perfect in order to be presented. It's not talking about you, and it's not talking about me. It's talking about His clothes of righteousness, His rightness, His perfect love, His glorious beauty from doing it right, given to us as a gift that we can't earn and don't deserve, can't qualify for on our merit, but He will give it to us. But you ever got a good set of clothes? A nice suit, pretty dress, whatever? Maybe as a child, this would be appropriate for children. For some reason, a wedding, funeral, church, for Easter, you had to dress up and you had good clothes on. And mom or dad said, don't you dare go out there in that yard and play in those clothes. You better not go play in that mud with those clothes on. Those are your good clothes. Don't mess them up. And it's not you're not going to be a child anymore. I'm going to disown you if you get your suit dirty. But it's just an understanding these clothes are special. They're valuable. They're beautiful. They look good on me. And they're not made for the sewer. They're not made for the mud puddle. They're not made to roll around in the dirt in. So, don't do that. Keep your clothes clean. Well, how do I do that? It's not by doing all the right things, and it's not by remembering the rules. It's by putting your eyes on the one who did it right. On the one who did it right. And walking with Him through it. Relying on His strength, His grace, His power to do what we can't do on our own, which is please God, which is love God, which is love to do good things and hate that which is evil, because there's something in our heart that even as believers, all this in heaven too. It means all the freedom and life and grace and beautiful victory in Jesus that you can have on this side and heaven. But sometimes we think the phrase, all this in heaven too, means I should be able to do everything I want and just live for myself, play in the mud, and still have a ticket to heaven. Well, I'm not saying you're going to lose your ticket, but I will say you'll lose your freedom, and you'll lose your joy, and you'll lose your peace, and you'll lose your hope, and you'll lose your sanity, and you'll lose having a life worth living on this side. Because you got the wrong clothes on. Because you took your good clothes off and put your bad clothes back on just for fun. So don't do that. Trust in His grace. Rely on His grace. Remember the blood and the death and the resurrection that gives you the clothes of righteousness. And walk with Him. Because He loves you as you are, not as you should be. But He loves you enough not to leave you as you are. So you can come. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what's been done to you, no matter how long you've been running, or how long you've been afraid to come, or how dirty you think you are, He's the one that cleans you. He's the one that makes you whole. So come, spend some time with Him. Rest and abide in His love and His grace. And know that you are okay with God. Not because you're okay, but because He is good and He makes you okay. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Unshackled Life podcast. If it encouraged, blessed, or challenged you, consider following the podcast and sharing it with someone you feel it might bless or help. Be blessed, and remember, when you fix your thoughts on God and build your thinking on the foundation of His truth, God fixes your thoughts.